video, I want to talk specifically about grouping dates. Now this is dates, sorry. This is a very important feature within a pivot table, because if we go look at our data for a second, especially with dates, you can see that we're going to have actual dates in here, hard dates, okay? Which is fine. But we might have 10,000, 20,000, a million records, who knows? So here's what happens when I add a date field in, okay? And again, keep in mind, the idea behind a pivot table is to summarize that data. I don't need necessarily all the details. I would like to summarize that information so it becomes useful to me. So I'm going to take date, okay, as a field. I'm going to add it into the column section in this particular example. So what's happened here is it's taken each date that I've entered into my data, and it displays it along the top. Now, here's the problem with that, is that sure, I've entered in the first of every month, and that's why it looks, you know, relatively clean, but it's not great. So if I had a different date for every single one of my expenses, which is very possible if I had more details, well, in that case, I would need to group it. What I'd like to say is, listen, don't give me all the details of every single day. I don't actually need that. What I would like you to do is group it by month, let's say. So here's how we achieve that really quickly in a pivot table. You're going to simply click on that field that you just added in your pivot table. Okay, so there's the date down here. I'm not talking about that. I'm going to click on it in my actual pivot table. I'm going to go to the Analyze tab, and on the Analyze tab you have a section called Group. And within Group you have an option to group the field, which would be the field that you've clicked on. So you see here I have grouping, and right now it's set to months, meaning it's going to group it together by months. I could do quarters and then months. I could do years and then months. You'll see this is just an activate or deactivate screen, okay? So I would like to group this by months. I'm going to make sure that is highlighted. When I hit OK, you see it automatically figures it out. So if you had 100 dates in January, it's going to group those together and summarize the data. And we did that with just 2 clicks. It's such a powerful tool that we have at our disposal in Excel. And you can group any field. I'm specifically talking about dates because that's a common one that comes up. But we can group any field we want. We can do manual grouping, we can do numeric grouping, and in this case we did a grouping on a date.